So looking down in the engine compartment, I don't know if you can see, but either that bar is not straight to straight to the car, or that bar is not straight to the car. And this discovery of there being a misalignment came with the trying to install the radiator, in that it just was skewed and I couldn't get this corner to pull into position without really putting a load on the radiator. So what I'm going to do is make some measurements from the firewall out to this cross beam here. If it is square to the car, then I know the issue is down below here. And I believe from evidence I've seen on this lower support bar that it is indeed the one that's out of whack. It looks like at some point the car was run into a rock or a curb, something in that area there shoved it backwards. So I'll set you up and make some measurements so you can watch. I'm going to measure from a flat part on the firewall out to this screwdriver that's as vertical as I can envision it. And to the center, I'm getting roughly 35 inches on this side. So let's see what we'll get on this side. And on this side, again, about 35 inches. So that tells me that this is parallel to the firewall and that the issue is down below as I thought. So I'm going to jack this side up because I'm also going to work on putting the cutoff spring into that strut, or actually not into that strut, into the new strut, and go from there. So I'll bring you back when I got the car jacked up and we're looking at that side. Alright, sketchy 101, but it's all I've got. I've got a 4x4 jammed against the control arm, and then the other end is pushing on, yeah, you can see right there, that heavy thick bracket. And I've moved it some, but I'm going to steer clear as I do some more. The intent is to, yeah, you can kind of see it's still got to push that way on that. So it's better. Now I need to clean up the garage because I'm missing one of these isolators. And until I have that, I really can't tell whether or not I've moved it enough. Worst comes to worst, I can elongate that hole down in there that the isolator fits in, and you know, it's certainly better. You know, I could actually go at it some more. I jacked on it and then I beat on this back of this beam with a sledgehammer while it was under tension. And so proof is when I go and install the radiator after I find the isolator. So that bit of, there's the light, that bit of cutaway is to allow the radiator to go back. If those holes are lined, if that hole's lined up with that post, I'm good. With a little bit of deforming, not much. I've got that post lined up with that hole. So no more beating and banging on the bottom. I'm gonna reinstall that bar and then hook up the lower hose and see if it holds water. It's kind of hard to tell with this light, but that's a mixture of 50% antifreeze and 50% water into the same old radiator, which, as I found in testing the other day, does not leak. So we've got the underside pushed out. It's still burping some air out of there. Got the bottom of the support rail pushed to where the radiator sits relatively straight across there, and I did remove some material from the body over there in that area, so it sits nicely. The inlet air plenum is in place. The air cleaner is all complete, hooked up now. The wires and reservoir hose have all been zip tied into place. The reservoir's got coolant in it now, and I've driven the car, so we're in good shape. I drove the car with just water in it. One thing I did discover after it heated up was that the clutch needs some adjustment underneath the dash, and so that's what I'm going to move on to next. The reason I know it needs adjustment is that it ground when trying to put it into first or really any gear out of neutral, and so that means that the pedal is not depressing the rod of the clutch master cylinder completely, and I kind of suspected that when I saw how loose it was underneath there. So I'll set you up and we'll look at that next. So here we are under the dash. This rod going up is the clutch lever. That rod right there is what pushes on the clutch master cylinder, and I have to push it till there before I start to feel it engage, and I need a little bit. Well, we're going to try some other adjustments before we touch that one. The other adjustment is the one that keeps it kind of in line with the brake pedal. Okay, there you can see it there. It's a large CAD plated looking bolt that I will run out so that the pedal is even with the brake. Alright, so we've got clutch pedal adjusted and the new pads, the used pads on. So that's a nice improvement. And now let's move on to trying to finish up the suspension in the front.